Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper proudly presents the Pickens Power half-hour Dragon Talk for the next 30 minutes right here. And we appreciate you guys tuning in with us once again right here on FYNTV.com. You can watch this program live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. And we appreciate you being with us. We'll remind you, of course, throughout the show, but we do appreciate you guys being with us. Want to thank all of our sponsors. And as always, we have some familiar faces and also some new ones this week as we begin another 30-minute Dragon Talk right here on the air. As always, joining us, head coach Jeff Nelson right here to my right. And if these two look a little similar, there might be a reason. They may have a little bit of blood between them. But this is Jamie Nelson, assistant coach, offensive coordinator with us here tonight. And our two players joining us in the first segment, we have Aaron Duncan with us. He's a left guard offensively, and Jonah Keener, a junior safety for the Dragons as well. So, gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Welcome. All right. You know, the first week, I think it was, we did this show, we had a couple of different guys on had a lot of hair, but and you guys got it too, man. You know, especially Aaron, you got some hair going on there. So, you know, like to see that. So we'll come back to our players in just a moment. Dragons again with a big game on Friday night. It's been a back and forth series with White County over the last couple of years. The one on Friday night this year did not go the way Dragons planned. 42-7 was the final. It was senior night for the White County Warriors in Cleveland. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about this game quickly. Very familiar opponent. You know, as we've talked about, you guys have played them a lot over the last few years. 2 years ago, one of those being a playoff game. It's kind of been a back and forth series historically. I know this Friday just didn't go the way you wanted it to.
Right. Well, again, they're a very mature, senior-loaded team and very well coached, and it came out and, we knew going into the game that we were going to have to be mistake-free, and right off the bat we, fumbled the ball and the very thing that we didn't need to happen. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So.
Yeah. Jared Whitmore with a touchdown for the Dragons late in the ball game. Pickens does get on the board there. Jared's played real well this year. Things kind of just, as you said, it seemed like early in the ball game things just didn't roll your way. Turnovers, when you have that kind of situation, kind of get behind the chains a little bit. It seems like that's what happened. But we knew going in that White County was a very senior-laden team, very talented. I think that folks around North Georgia know how good this team is. They put up 47 and 50 respectively in their first two games, I think, against Stevens County and Hart County, two traditionally strong programs. So I think coming in to be able to hold those guys, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but to hold those guys to 42 points, seeing what they did the first two games against those two teams was, I know it wasn't necessarily a moral victory for you guys, but at the same time, you went in there and played with a much younger team and gave them a game.
Well, we had a lot of first-year players on the field. We had some seniors, a lot of sophomores playing, and across the board we had a lot of kids who have not played on Friday night until this year, and so we're going to have some growing pains. With that being said, I think as a coach, as head coach, I just got to get them better prepared. I didn't feel like we were hitting on all cylinders right from the start. So
sure.
The kids have got to buy into what we're doing, but as a coach, I've got to do a better job of getting them rolling.
Yeah. The Dragons, again, will turn the page on this game on Friday night to look ahead to this week's matchup against Coosa as they return home. And, looking around the region right now, Heritage, Northwest Whitfield, still in this new region, both 3-0. But other than that, the Dragons, the only other team in the region right now with the victory. Cedartown, Central Carroll, and Ridgeland all combined 0-6 coming into the year. So it has been a tough season so far for the region as a whole. But, again, at 1-2, still non-region games right here. As we know, these are all kind of tune-up games for the games that will count later in the year. We're going to talk about Coosa a little bit later on in the show, but what do you take away from this game as far as kind of heading into the next couple and getting ready for that region schedule?
Well, again, we're a lot of what we're doing, we're slowly adding to our offense and our defensive packages. We're still at this point, nailing down who can play without having the spring and without having the summer camps and all. And having a team as young as we have, some of the kids we have out there, we're looking to see if that's really where they, where they're best suited to help the team. And unfortunately, we're having to do it Friday night as well, and that's always tough. What we're looking for is to build off of this, learn from the mistakes we made, and I think the kids, they didn't drop their head, and they've got right back at it yesterday when we got back here, and we just got to step up and continue to build off of what we've been doing each week and get more understanding, add more to both sides of the ball as far as what we do offensively and defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of offense, we have with us tonight again offensive coordinator Jamie Nelson. Coach, thanks for being with us. I know that obviously Friday night didn't work out the way you guys wanted to, but kind of we only have you guys in here, the assistants, and we roll them in every week. So we haven't had a chance to talk to you yet so far on the season, but kind of looking at the whole body of work so far of this team and having the younger players, like Coach said, how has it been working with this group, and what are some things that you guys have been focusing on specifically to get rolling?
Well, I think like Coach said, with having such a young team and so many new guys coming in, our focus is still evaluating and assessing, getting the right combination in, and working, still a lot of fundamentals, technique, and trying to find that identity about being more physical and
Sure.
bringing a physicality to the field. And so that's something, that we're seeing that progress just coming along slowly, and it was a tough opponent to have to gain some of that experience against on Friday night, but something we learned from and hope to move forward and build upon that coming this upcoming week.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I know, like we talked about, the game on Friday, definitely one of those you want to put behind you. They always say as a player, you kind of have to have a short memory. You got to turn around because you got a game this week, and everything. But let's talk about you guys so far and what you've been working on. Aaron, I know you're obviously up there on the line a little bit. What are some things that you've been working on individually to make your game better?
Just getting more physical off the line, trying to drive the person down the field and just not miss and just get my man off the field and do what I can to make the team better.
Absolutely. Those guards sometimes got to pull, kind of be quick and nimble, I guess, a little bit. So do you feel like speed's part of your game,
I'd say so a little bit. Trying to be as fast as I can just to get out there and make the blocks on the outside and just get to where I have to be on the field.
Right. So now you and Jonah in a 40-yard dash, who's winning that one?
Me.
Right. Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. That didn't say a lot, man. Your safety. I know you got to beat this guy. I know you can beat this guy. But anyway, Jonah, thanks for being with us. Talk a little bit, flipping the defensive side of the ball, your safety, obviously a junior. What are some things that you've been working on? Anything in particular to get your game better in practice?
We've really just been trying to nail down our formations. Been playing a lot of blue, which is man on the backside.
Right.
So just nailing those in, knocking off the mistakes, just doing our jobs basically.
There you go. Awesome. That's what's all about. You really got to, I know as a DB, communication is such a big thing. You guys really got to communicate with each other as far as what's going on back there for sure. So I can tell you guys are good communicators. Is there anything in particular for either one of you guys, anything about this season? Obviously I've talked about it with some of the other guys over the last couple weeks, and we talk about COVID and how it's kind of changed the seasons around. What has stood out for you guys? How has this team been able to come together? Have you guys still been able to kind of come together and develop that chemistry, I guess?
I feel like this has been one of the closer teams that I've been on personally. I don't know if it's COVID that brought us together or what, but this is one of the closest, tight-knit family groups I've been a part of.
Right. Jonah, how about you?
Even the energy coming from some of our senior captains and the junior captains too has been off the charts.
Right. And I know that you guys have kind of you guys are both juniors. I know that the senior class this year is a little bit smaller than maybe what you guys had last year. So do you guys, even as juniors, do you kind of feel maybe an added sense of responsibility as a leader? I know you have seniors and you have good seniors, maybe just not as many of them. So do you guys as juniors feel a little bit of a leadership role too for the younger guys?
Yeah, I feel like we all got to be leaders on the field. Like if we're out there on Friday night, we just got to be a unit and just try and lead and just do what we can to win.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely some added weight that we all have to carry and just picking each other up whenever we make mistakes.
Right. That's awesome. Got to encourage each other and keep each other up. So, indeed, the Dragons, I like the vibe of the team. I know that, here early on in the season, again, some big games coming up as we kind of start talking about the region schedule a little bit over the next couple weeks. First up, though, this week, of course, Coosa, another non-region game, 7AA opponent. We saw Chattooga, of course, a couple weeks ago. Coosa on deck this week, and we're going to talk about that one a little bit more later on. I do want to thank all of our Team FYN Sports sponsors and want to remind folks to follow follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Team FYN Sports on Twitter for all your Friday night North Georgia High School scores and updates. And be sure to hit the like button on our Facebook page as well, our FYN Sports Facebook page, and appreciate you guys being with us. And before I go any further, the last couple weeks, I keep forgetting to mention Emily Nicholson, our outstanding producer and director who's behind the scenes here tonight, and she's doing an excellent job. We appreciate her being on board with us as well. Coach Nelson, back to you for just a second. Of course, Coach Jamie Nelson going to be with us in the next segment too. But we were talking off camera a little bit, and the stories I could tell about this guy, but I won't go there tonight. Some folks know that we grew up a little bit together. But anyway, talking about I'd asked you earlier about, are you in the box this year, calling plays from the sideline box, moved around a little bit this year. Talk about the different perspective that you get from maybe being in the box versus being on the sideline.
Well, being in the box, you get a better view from up top, so you're able to kind of oversee things a little better, give you a better idea of kind of the plan of what you want to attack with. The negative about that is obviously you don't get to have the communication with the players. Right. So that's, there's positives and negatives of both. Absolutely.
And Coach, back to you. Obviously, the team, even in a loss, we've seen the last couple of weeks have been very good opponents. You guys have played some particularly good individual athletes too. We talk about quarterback position, like Chattooga was very mobile, very senior-laden team for White County, that you guys ran up against on Friday night. But the attitude of this team seems to be very positive. I mean, they seem to be guys that are rallying around each other and have come together, and doesn't seem to be a lot of panic with this team. I think they feel like that they have the potential to be a very good football team.
Yeah, I think so. They really are a close-knit group, like the kids said, and you can see it in the locker room, on the field. They hold each other accountable out there at practice. If something's not going right, they'll kind of get on each other, and sometimes, the coaches don't have to tell them to do it again. They want to run the play again, and so you do see a lot of leadership individually, but just a close-knit group, and I think that they're not down at all. I think they're ready to keep picking up the pace and keep working hard to get better.
Here we go. That's what you want to see right here. Guys, thanks for being with us. We're up against our first break. Do want to thank Aaron Duncan and Jonah Keener for being on board with us right here in this first segment. Great job, guys. Look forward to it. We're going to bring in 2 new players here after the break. Once again, we do want to have you guys follow us on Friday nights on Twitter at Team FYN Sports. Again, this is the Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper Pickens Power half-hour Dragon Talk. More after these messages as we break down this week's matchup against Coosa and much more. Stay with us.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature, memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
And welcome back to the program. Again, this is the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. We appreciate you guys being with us each and every week during the high school football season. The Pickens Dragons, again, with us right here. And Coach Jeff Nelson, the head coach, with us. Coach, as we talked about, we're going to introduce our new players here in just a moment. Last week, White County. This week, you guys quickly turned the page. Another game on Friday night. You return home, though. 2 weeks, I guess, on the road. Now you guys are back at Dragon Stadium against Coosa. Another good team, 2-0 coming in after a pair of wins over Tryon and Lookout Valley, Tennessee. So, again, another big challenge this week.
Yeah, they are. They've got a good running back, real big, and they bring a smaller running back in who's real quick, so they kind of got a thunder and lightning going on there. And they'll be tough to bring down, so defensively we'll have to play sound. Mm-hmm. And I just from what I've seen from our D-line this week, they've been working hard, and I think we'll be ready.
Absolutely. Should be a good ball game. Again, it's always nice to return home to the confines of Dragon Stadium. We were talking about the kind of the different, the capacity levels of the different counties and so forth. I'm not sure there's a stadium as big as the one you guys have here. I mean, when you look at the home side, which used to be the only side, right. And now they've added in, of course, the visiting side there. So it's definitely a very picturesque stadium for sure, and I know that even under the parameters, we can still squeeze a lot of folks in here on a Friday night, which should make for a good atmosphere, so we're excited about it. We also have with us, of course, offensive coordinator Jamie Nelson joining us right here in the middle seat, and our two new players for this segment. Of course, we had Aaron and we had Jonah with us on the last segment. This segment, we welcome at the end of the table Mr. Sean Howard, senior wide receiver, and next to him, outside linebacker, sophomore Mason Powell. And I was joking around with these guys that they've got a little bit shorter hair, which, football-wise, you think that'd be the more appropriate haircut, but these guys nowadays in their long hair. But Mason, you were saying you got to have it short this time of year, right? You know, that's what it's all about with football. So we appreciate you guys being here. Mason, let's start with you. You know, you're the young guy that's here tonight, just a sophomore. How has it been for you transitioning? You know, a lot of times, you know, you guys from freshman year to sophomore year is a big jump. You go from playing on a Thursday afternoon or whatever to playing on a Friday night. I know it's a different dynamic. How has that transition been for you?
It's a big eye opener about just a couple years in high school, how it can change people from sophomore to, like, you look at the seniors, just the size difference and the knowledge of what to do.
Right. How have those seniors been so far in those upperclassmen? Have they taken you under their wing a little bit?
Yeah, and they make everyone work every day at practice.
Yeah.
No easy day.
Yeah. Well, see, you'll do the same thing, though. You know, another year or two, you'll be making those young guys, you know, do the same thing. So that's that accountability that we're talking about, Coach, with those guys. You know, these coaches don't have to get onto the upperclassmen a lot because they make sure that they're doing what they need to and make sure the younger guys do as well. Sean, how about you? I mean, obviously you're a senior. You've been around it and seen it a little bit. As a receiver, I mean, what are some things that you're working on personally, you know, in practice? Anything that you're working on in particular to get better?
Definitely precision. When you're running your routes, if you make the cuts faster and more precise, they're going to throw DBs off, and we're going to get the ball down the field and score touchdowns.
There we go. You know, we're talking about in the last segment, we're talking with Jonah, of course, who's a safety, and how they have to communicate. But you guys, you know, offensively have to be on the same page as well with what you're doing, and you've got a quarterback that's, you know, counting on you guys to be where you're supposed to be when you run your routes and everything. So I think it's interesting that you talked about route running. But what about this team, and what about you guys as an offense, as a group? I mean, how have y'all come together? I mean, is there anything in particular that you guys as an offense are focusing on? You think one thing I will ask from a blocking standpoint, I mean, as a receiver,
Oh, yes.
that's the biggest part of it. I heard a saying the other day. I think one of the coaches was saying something about, you know, I can't remember what the term was, but something to the effect of, you know, if you don't block, you don't get the rock, you know, sort of a thing. So, what about blocking wise as a receiver?
Blocking is a good stronghold because, I mean, if we run sweeps and jet sweeps like that, if we stay on our blocks, that's easily a lot of yards that we can get down the field. We work T drills and our wide receiver individuals at practice every week, so that helps us a lot.
Absolutely. Got to be physical, and you got to be able to bring a lot more to it because, again, these guys aren't just out there running routes. You guys are doing a lot of different things and doing the dirty work, I guess, too, a little bit. So, Mason, let's talk about you, like position specific as an outside linebacker. I mean, what are some of your responsibilities? What are some things that you're
set the edge and make sure nothing gets outside of you.
Right.
This is just a corner that's on the island with the receiver, so he's backpedaling. So you got to force everything back to the other 10 guys.
Right, and if you've got a team, I guess, that's running with a wide open kind of formation, you have any kind of pass coverage responsibility in there too at any time, or
flats and know where everyone's at.
Yeah, there you go.
No one's coming backside to you.
Right, absolutely. So it's all about discipline, I guess, right? You always got to know kind of where you're at on the field and where the personnel's at. It's real easy to kind of go to the ball, you know, but sometimes you got to play the backside. Guys slip out of the formations, and you see teams every Sunday, you know, getting burnt because of that same thing. So it's awesome that you guys have the perspective that you have, you know, at your age to know that those things are going on. Let's talk, Coach Jamie, offensive coordinator, let's talk about this week's matchup. I know that Coach was talking a little bit about defensively, having to get after them and everything. How do you attack this Coosa team on Friday night offensively?
Well, we got to be more consistent. They have some really good athletes. They fly around to the ball, and I think you know, staying on your blocks, being more consistent each play, and you know, our big saying is assignment and alignment. So make sure to know what your alignment is and what your assignment is on the snap of the ball. So that's something we're just trying to be more consistent at.
Coaches always have those sayings that rhyme. You know, those things, like I was trying to think of the one, you know, and everything. So it's always those things that stick with you and everything. So I like that. I like that assignment and alignment. So for sure. What has been the strength of the offense so far? Not to single anybody out, not to, you know, pit guys against each other a little bit, but in your opinion, where's the strength of this offense been so far in the early part of the season?
Well, you know, obviously we're still trying to find our way. We still have still trying to mesh, but we're seeing some signs. We have a young quarterback, and you know, all these guys are getting on the job training. But he's made a lot of good plays when he's had opportunities to. And meshing that with a veteran running back.
Sure.
And we also have a veteran wide receiver. So we're trying to be able to mesh all those things together so we can be a little bit more balanced and consistent. But so far, I've been impressed with the poise that he's shown. Being so young and having an opportunity to be back there. But I think, as we go forward,
Right.
being like we just talked about, being more consistent, being able to run the ball to set the pass up a little bit more.
Sure.
Is what we're looking to get to.
Absolutely. Sam's got a good bloodline there. We know he's going to be good there. And, speaking of Sam, we had Sam Stout in here, I guess. Big Stout here the first week, I think it was, Coach. We had him in here. They don't get much bigger than him. So, there's definitely some beef up front to work with there as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Again, the Dragons on Friday night taking on the Coosa Eagles out of 7AA here at Dragon Stadium. We're here inside the Jim Block Fieldhouse tonight. This is the 30-minute Dragon Talk, the Pickens Power Half Hour. Appreciate you guys being with us. I want to remind folks to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for all your North Georgia high school scores and updates. And be sure to hit that like button on our Facebook page as well. We would certainly appreciate that. So, Coach, again, as we talk about kind of getting closer to region play the next couple of weeks, but got Coosa this week. Don't want to look ahead past that game. I know coaches don't like doing that. It's 1 week at a time. So we talked a little bit about Coosa early on there, but what are some things that you've stressed to the team? And I know it's still kind of early in the week at this point, but what are some things that you've stressed to your guys about this game? And what's one area that you would like to see maybe improvement in from Friday night to this week?
Well, I think across the board, consistency. You'll see. On offense, you'll see a great block, and then we'll run the same play and we'll miss that block or we forget the assignment. On defense, we'll, the D-line will do exactly what they're supposed to do one play, then one guy will, just be slightly off or he'll forget his assignment, and that's the mark of a team who's young and inexperienced. And I think just getting that consistency and really that play in, play out confidence.
Sure.
Each play to, know what you're doing and having the confidence to complete the task. And I think that's what we really need, and that's what we stressed all day during practice days. Be consistent. Let's continue to do what we do. We'll go and ask them. What's your assignment on this? If you see this, they'll tell you, and then let's execute that.
Right.
So that I think just more consistent. I think we'll go a long way as we get closer to region play.
One thing we haven't touched on, and it made me think of it because we haven't said a lot. We talked a lot about offense, defense, of course, 3 phases of football, and dare I bring up the Falcon, debacle from the weekend, and talking about special teams and all those sorts of things. But one thing we haven't really talked about are the specialists. You guys have been pretty solid. I mean, the kicking game and really that third phase of the game has kind of come together for you guys.
Yeah, we have 2 kickers, brothers that are really good, and Jared has picked up the punting duties and has done an outstanding job. And the way we run our punt team is we want that athlete back there and that can give us a chance to do something if we need to, and he's done a great job with that. And so we've been fortunate this year that that phase of the game so far has clicked, and if we can put everything together, I think down the stretch we're hoping for good things to happen.
Here we go. All about consistency for sure. And so, again, getting those 3 phases lined up there, and it should be a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for being with us, man. Good job. Good job as always. Sean was a little nervous, I think. Maybe not. You're pretty comfortable. No, you seem pretty comfortable down there. So, Mason, good job, man. That's what it's all. See, you're a sophomore. You got a couple more years of this. So, this punishment, I guess. No, but could be worse, I guess, right? So.
May I add one thing?
Yeah.
One of the greatest things older Coach Nelson has ever told me, and basically to every team, is that football teams are way better if they're player-led.
Mm-hmm.
If the seniors step up and everybody else, then they'll just carry us to victories. But if they're coach-led and nobody wants to step up and be a leader and a role model, then there's nothing you can do there.
There you go. It's a great point. Absolutely. Hopefully you guys out there listening to that pick that up for sure. And this seems like a very player-led team. I mean, you guys have a good group of upperclassmen that, like we were talking, like Mason said, they make sure we do what we're supposed to do out there, and everything. So that says a lot, I think, about the character of this team. So hopefully you guys will keep that up, right? Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So, again, do appreciate our players being with us. Sean Howard, senior wide receiver, with us. Mason Powell, sophomore outside linebacker. Going to see a lot more of him, certainly, over the next couple years. And we do appreciate you guys being with us. We're just about out of time this week. Do want to thank Jamie Nelson, offensive coordinator, for being with us tonight. Great job, as always. You've been on here before. It's not your first rodeo. So, Seth Deering is a hard act to follow from last week. No, but anyway, knocked it out of the park as always. And of course, head coach Jeff Nelson joining us each and every week right here on the program. He's always the one that pulls the hard duty. You got to sit here every week.
That's right.
So you got the tough job, but we do appreciate it as always. Always fun talking to you. And again, good luck to you guys this week. Should be a fun game. Look forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, big crowd hopefully on hand here. Again, get out there and support the Dragons. And I guess tickets are being pre-sold, or are they at the gate available too?
I think they're doing both.
Okay.
You can pre-order, or you can buy them at the gate.
Okay. Sounds good. So get on out here, Dragon Faithful. We will see you Friday night against the Coosa Eagles. Kickoff at 7:30. Appreciate you guys being with us. Want to thank Johnny's New York Style Pizza, all of our guests, of course, for being with us. And once again, Emily Nicholson behind the controls here tonight is our producer, director. Appreciate that. And just a reminder, look for R.J. Casey on the sidelines. He is writing the articles every week for this Pickens Dragon team, following as he always does on Fetch Your News, and we appreciate that. Team FYN Sports, always highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way. Until next week, we'll see you next time. Get out there and root on those Dragons.